Yeah, this is man versus music. Ah, you know what I'm saying? Michael Eichel in the building, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it like this. It ain't flavor, it's fever. Niggas got penny on the wall. I'm on that. Niggas got phony on the ball. I'm on that. I'm on that. Yes, yes, yes. I'm on that, man. What? I'm on that. Get it, get it.
Sorry to from the left, going to the right, we have KJ, Kaj, Devin, Mo, Larry, and Dwayne.
Come on!
Mo and Larry.
Come on through!
Y'all next to each other? Alright, bro.
We are the three.
Dwayne. Pleasure.
So I want you
are you gonna jump on them, boo?
Yeah.
We need you.
Yeah.
I don't think y'all gonna want me because I already had my opinions about what y'all said. I was like, oh no.
Well,
so where do you want me to sit?
Kind of like the way I was, or actually, can she replace you, Mo?
Excuse me?
I can never. I will never.
You said that.
You know.
I kind of like want you in the back so we can always see you.
So where do you want me to
be posted? I want her to be posted.
So you want me to let
you can be like where I was, because I'm
gonna
sit.
leave too.
No, you,
no,
cut that out.
No. I mean, I know I got it.
And I'm gonna stay right here.
Gay.
I'm just playing.
Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce, her name.
I'm playing. I don't have to be in the spotlight.
Coworkers like Beyonce is like a drag.
So I want to introduce. Introduce yourself, okay? And I'm gonna step back, and I want y'all to. I'll give y'all the topic, and then y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Are we recording now?
It's recording, but I'll edit everything out.
Okay, so my name is.
You blocking me.
Ooh. This is a serious library up here. Lots of reading, honey.
The alpha male has spoken.
So hello everyone. My name is Olivia Rose. I am from Fantap Speaks on YouTube. I have been a little late. No, I've been a little not on time. Honey, I'm never late. So yeah, what are you talking about?
Thanks for giving us the topic.
Okay.
I love you.
Oh, I love you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody does. Do you get that?
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Know you.
Shut up.
That's why she.
But I think to know you is to love you, right?
Huh?
No.
To know you is to love you.
No.
So we have
I tried to pick that up.
an Instagrammer by the name of Aaron_Welch.
I know him.
Oh, do you? Okay,
I'm
cool.
lying.
Okay. He wants to talk about teenage homosexuals.
Why?
And what is the right age to start acting gay?
Oh, we start
Wait,
acting
I'm
gay.
confused.
What?
Acting gay?
Acting gay.
That's my question.
So,
or like to come out maybe.
it's
or
a-
acting
Come
gay.
out. I don't know about
Maybe.
that.
I don't know what that means.
Right.
So y'all talk about
We're
it.
just kind of confused.
What is the right age?
Question, right?
Well,
That's
I
what
think,
it is.
but it sounds like somebody that's young that's confused, and that's the thing. I feel like with media period right now, with what they portray gay men as, they feel like I have to act a certain way, I have to dress a certain way, I have to be a certain way. No, you don't have to be a certain way. You can be you. You can do you. I mean, you can play basketball. You can like sports. You can.
There's no one. There's no poster child for gay.
No, go skiing.
I don't think it's the same as like when I was coming up though, because they're definitely doing it a lot younger than I was when I was coming up. When I was in middle school and high school, you didn't see that like that.
Right.
But now, like, you see it everywhere. You see it in elementary school, you see it in middle school, you see it in high school, and they are more accepting of it. There's still people that do not accept it, but when I was coming up, it was like you stayed away from the ones that were out or the ones that were
we have those
comfortable.
thoughts,
Right.
we still stay.
Yeah,
away.
but it was like when I came up, if you hung around the gay people, it was like social suicide. Like if somebody came out, it was like you could not communicate with that person.
Yeah.
But now, like, I have younger siblings, and when they were coming up, it was more and more like y'all start at 14 and 15. Like, damn, y'all
they be on jack on at
that-
18.
I think that honestly we're talking, to me at least, I feel like we're talking to two different points. And I guess this is a point that kind of hits home for me because I'm not your typical looking gay. Like most people have to ask me, oh, wow, that's your wife? And I'm like, yeah, I'm totally gay.
I didn't even know.
So, see,
That's amazing.
See, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And I think it's just what the effeminacy in men. Is that what we're talking about? Is that because what happens if you're gay and you're just not flamboyant, or you're gay and you're just not feminine of center or whatever?
Then you get a pass because no, I mean no, it's it's not that you should be passing, but I know from my experience I don't get the same reactions from people that somebody that is obviously gay. I don't have those interactions because people don't see me and say
or feminine.
In that world, that's what they're saying. Like somebody that you can tell is gay versus somebody that they can't. So I don't get approached by people asking, "Hey, are you gay?" or "You look gay?" or any of that. So as far as what you're touching on, I don't get looked at as somebody that would be gay. So I get the same thing on the male side of it because I'm masculine and have tattoos and dress urban and do all of the stuff that society sees as a regular heterosexual male. But there are other people that go out and just walk down the street and people are looking at them sideways because it's more obvious to them, to society, that that person is different. So
I think that is powerful. And I also think that what I'm specifically speaking of is being somewhat not necessarily embraced by the gay community, because whether it's the boys or the girls, it's kind of looked at like, girl, you about to go to dick in 1 minute, and I'm just like, or like, you know probably not, and I'm just like, or nah, like, so I hear what you're saying, and that's why I kind of was like, what do you mean acting gay? Because it kind of hits home for me, because I'm like, there is no acting gay, because I'm totally gay and I don't act any differently, obviously, because you can't notice me and everybody has to ask me, girl, you gay? Are you gay? Exactly. And so therefore I go like, there is no acting gay. If you are flamboyant, that's one thing. But
I think society puts those labels. Like, we don't necessarily put those labels. Well, sometimes we do.
I think you do.
Sometimes we do. But like, even like when I came out to my mom, like, and then like she would come down to Atlanta and I would introduce her to my friends or whatever. She would be like, "Oh, he's such a waste."
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like, but I'm from Oregon, so it's kind of like she didn't know no better. You know, she just didn't know any better, because her thought of a gay was, you know, Will and Grace. You know what I'm saying? Just very flamboyant. Just out there. She never knew like quote normal, just regular people
who are just attracted to the same sex.
Attracted to the same sex. So
one of the issues though is most females get a pass in society because when it comes to the men's side, because they look at you guys and they don't turn their nose up to the idea of two women together. They think that's love that idea.
I think that
when you show it in two men. No, seriously though, like,
I mean, I hear you, and then I also know what my wife has to go through, because my wife is masculine of center. So I'm not gonna go to a board meeting and not, you know, or excuse me, not a board meeting. Obviously, I wouldn't bring her there. I'm not gonna go to like a Christmas party and not bring my wife along. So the minute that they see her, she gets that, and we get that collectively together, because it's just like we get the difference of, why don't you? You know, you're such a beautiful girl. Why are you gay? You know, you probably just didn't have the right man, like something to that effect. And so that is in itself, you know, hurtful for me. You know what I'm saying? So I get the same. I don't get beat up.
I would take that and flip it though, because I get the same thing. Like when the people find out I'm married, they like, oh well, who is she? Like, when are y'all having kids? And I'm like, no, I'm married to a man. But the thing is, more examples, and not taking it offensively, but taking it as an opportunity to educate them and be like, what you're saying to me right now comes off a little bit ignorant, and I know you better to think that you know better and you're not gonna do better. So let me school you right quick. And I mean, a lot of people don't want to do that, but I feel like we have a voice that transcends, because people feel like, well, you're like me, so I can listen to you. You know, where they don't have that connection necessarily with a flamboyant or whoever, or a masculine woman. They have those. You need to have those conversations and speak up and be that voice and make that happen.
Go ahead, because you haven't spoken.
I think we all have individual voices, and we all have the need to feel special. And it's this need that brings out the best in us, yet the worst in us. Thank you, Janet Velvet.
Oh, I was about to say.
Coming from a flamboyant male's perspective, it was actually, my uncle is flamboyant and gay. He's about 50. Oh, John is almost like 52, 53 now. But part of my life, you know, I grew up in the system, so I didn't have stable parents, but part of my life I was with him. And I said that quote actually directly from a lyric from Janet Jackson's Special song, because that's around the time, 10 years old, when I guess, understood who I was, in a sense that I was attracted to another man, and I got that. Maybe not everything. I think the physical, sexual aspect came along, you know, a few years later, you know, and when I officially became a teenager. But I mean, I think for example, that was my voice. I think that album actually was awarded by GLAAD for an LGBTQ album, because, you know, Janet actually spoke about her experiences, you know, with women at the time, especially in the car interlude. But you know, you know, for me and you know, like for her, like I looked up to her, and so I put that Janet reference out there because I looked up for her, and for me that was comfort into myself, and so did my uncle. But I think it was different for me, and growing up in the Midwest and having, at the time I was with my uncle, a flamboyant male, and then becoming one in myself, instead of, you know, maybe you know, growing up and being sheltered and not coming out until I was, you know, not discovering that I liked boys or men, and you know, maybe I was, you know, maybe someone else that, you know, had been bi and came out later. I think everyone has the different experiences. So for me, you know, I could speak to those ones that, you know, that are flamboyant and that are who they are, and I think we all have our own identity in a sense that we all have our voices, and it's up to us to connect to different individuals, and different individuals gonna gravitate to your story, your story, your story, yours. So, you know, I guess I'm a voice of reason to those that, you know, are flamboyant, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I just really, you know, if there's a teenager or someone out there, because to me that question that was proposed via Instagram sounded like it was someone that, you know, was younger. And you know, there's all these suicides of, you know, flamboyant guys taking their lives because they're not accepted, or they don't feel that acceptance within their community or their home. So yeah, so that's just, I guess, my take on this topic, my background.
There are so many different colors in the gay community, and although we get so much ignorant, arrogant, hateful comments and remarks from the outside world, out of the gay community, we give it to ourselves as a culture club. So my question to you guys is, have you received, you said you received negativity from others, but from gays, have you? Yes. From gays, have you? Like, and talk about that, and why do we do that to each other when we already have to deal with it with the rest of the world?
I don't know, but I will say one thing about the lesbians. Girls. I will say that we are moving in a better direction, because maybe even 5 years ago we just had this dichotomy of it was either butch or femme, and it wasn't like the act of being queer or just being gay and just loving women regardless of whatever their outside appearances look like. And I think that because of that we've moved forward, but we still have a lot of hating going on, and I think that it happens in a lot of those cities that aren't getting touched by all of this forward movement. So you have New York, you have DC, Atlanta, Miami, but you know, you got
the major cities too. Yeah.
But
I mean, Atlanta is my issue with the gay community is they always try to put masculine and feminine against each other.
I definitely agree. I definitely agree. But I feel though that the lesbians are moving in a good direction, because it was very, especially on this side of the rainbow. I'm not talking about my sisters on the other side of the rainbow. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying on this side of the rainbow, you know, this color, you know, we very much were, when I was growing up at least, I know I don't look, I'm not gonna tell you my age, but when I was growing up, it was very either you were a femme or you were a butch, and a butch was a dyke, and a butch could be an AG, you could be whatever, but you wasn't, you could be a, you know, a thug, a dom, an aggressive.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Right. That's interesting. You call it an AG?
Okay, so AG is aggressive, so you could be an AG, a dom, dominant.
Yeah, okay.
You could be a stud. Those are the things that you were on that side, and then you were just a femme. And that was just kind of, that was it. Now it's so much. You got stems, you got like fluidity, you got masculine of center, you got, you know, butch femmes. You just have so much more. And I want to say last 5 minutes, last 5 years.
Is that not the same?
No,
what I want to, oh gosh, sometimes I almost wish, like, this might come off like weird or might sound wrong, so I'm closing my eyes as I say it. Because I feel before I speak. I don't know if it's a female male thing, but you know, I see it sometimes here in Atlanta, and not so much you know here and there in New York, and not so much in Chicago. Maybe it's a different demographic thing, but I just, you know, I get that everyone does things differently, and I'm not judging someone for not showing affection in public or whatever. You know, you do what you do because that works for you. But it's just, I just want to talk about the bliss and the love of that. Me personally, I'm bubbly and outgoing and all of that, but when it comes to relationship, I'm very private. That is very sacred to me, and I think that's something that not everyone is able to share. Similar to Jackson thing, like that's nest, that's home. But showing affection, or you know, me walking down the street and a man grabs my waistline or slide me to the side and he opens the door or whatever like that, I see that so much more. And on the lesbian side of things, I just feel real warm.
So you want to be lesbian?
Right.
Yes.
I don't
There's
know
nothing
what
wrong
you
with that.
see.
It's just a beautiful
I
thing.
see all of the angry ones that really
They exist.
put out like they're men. Like those are the ones that I typically see. Like, you really think you're a man, like the way you're putting it out there. Like I don't see the peaceful ones that are in bliss and all. I see the angry ones that want to fight everybody. And no, I mean seriously. Like when I encounter them, those are the ones that I typically see. Personally, I don't have any friends that are, so I'm kind of clueless to that whole side of the world. What? That's your friend, and I don't really see her like that.
But
so I don't.
You see her. I mean,
I hung out with her, but I don't.
She doesn't try to fight you.
She did, but I mean,
Why is there such a divide between lesbians and gays?
Yeah, that's
it's a big a misunderstanding of the worlds. Like
It's two completely different worlds.
It is.
A lot of the things that you mentioned, I'm like, huh? What?
Right.
Oh, okay. Well, I recognize that, but what? Huh? So but why is that though? Why? Can anybody speak to that?
I think it's because the genders, the separation in genders. Because I feel like most gay men, like, they have straight female friends, but they don't have any gay female friends. It's really weird how that works out. Like where like you go to a gay male club and it's mostly straight females. You might have a few lesbians sprinkled in, but we really don't integrate.
That is
but
true.
I think that's by choice too, cause for me, I don't have that many gay male friends. I have lesbian friends. So all of my friends, majority that are behind me are lesbians. And so when she said AG and Dom, that to me was familiar to me, because they, you know, I've been educated by lesbians, you know, and I know they don't like certain words like dyke and so forth. So I can understand exactly where she's coming from. Now for me, I'm lost in the gay male perspective, because at the end of the day, when certain friends that come up to me that might say some stuff that, you know, I might understand, I'm like, man, what is that? You know what I'm saying? So I think there's the lack of education on both ends. I mean, if you don't, because a lot of my gay friends are like, man, I don't want to deal with no lesbians, man. They don't do nothing fun. They just want to, you know, this and that. So I think the division right there is the fact that you don't want to get to know that lesbian because it's not something that she does that you might be interested in doing. I think it's just a lack of, I don't know what the word is. I really want to put that word out there to say it's just a lack of interest. shall I say. The lack of interest, because what you're doing, I ain't trying to go do. When you go to the club, ain't no men there. It's nothing but women. You feel what I'm saying? So when you come to a male gay club, most women are like, man, ain't no bitches here, man. Ain't no women here, man. So I want to go tell what the women are.
Yes, you know? So and I think that there's space for the idea of, okay, so I do hear you, because I do have those few gay males who hang out with us, but for the most part, here's a percentage of the reason why there's no cohesiveness. One, women are nesters. I don't even see my own gay friends, my own lesbian friends, and we friends. I don't even see them because we happen to be nesters. So when you get up into a relationship, that love you talking about, honey, that's all they doing is loving up on each other until they hate each other and then they get angry. Which is when you see them. So, right, they U-haul, and that's typical. That's not everybody, but for the most part, you love on that person. You just want to be with that person all the time, all the time, all the time. Then you start to integrate, and then you get with your girls, and then sometimes you just get angry, and that's what you see. I think that's part of it. Then the other part of it is, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, and I could be wrong. Y'all help me out. I feel like when we hang out with some of our gay guys, they don't want us to hang out with them. Because they'll be classified, especially if they're like masculine dudes, because then they'll be classified as being like flamboyant, and then they're like the gay of the group. You know, so I have a lot of gay guys that we can hang out independently, but the minute that I invite him to like a group of things, he'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I gotta he got something else to do. So what's up with that?
That's such a
and what's up with the oh god, I guess what's up with like masculine, I don't want to say versus, but I feel like the society, like within our culture, it's like, okay, well these guys are masculine, and these guys, so femmes do this, and then masculine do this, or now it's like in between, like a new category, like it's in between, like he's half masculine, but then he's not feminine, but then he wears skinny jeans, but then he's a top, but then like that he's really girly, but then he's a top, or he's a bottom, but he's super masculine and super like. That's a whole. Like all of this, like.
That's a whole. We're gonna get into that. We'll get into that.
Like everything is so like.
But I do want to answer her. I'm speaking for myself, and I think I can vibe with what you're saying. It's because I like to go to clubs and see men. I don't like to go to clubs and see women.
I'm not going to a gay girls club, especially not with my wife. That's just wrong.
So for me, it's like I hardly see lesbians. I don't have a problem with hanging with lesbians at all. Like I love being around women. Women are so fun. Yeah. They're more caring that I've found than men. The women that I've come encountered with don't really care too much about he said, she said, and stuff like that, which is interesting. And so for me, I wish I could be around more women because they're just more fun for me. Guys is all a competition, and it's all about, like he said, getting into the whole you wear skinny jeans and then you're flamboyant, and I'm more masculine than you, and I can't be seen with you because I'm not feminine. Like I was gonna ask you, you give ultra masculine alpha male. Do you care about hanging around feminine guys and being around feminine guys and being typecasted as whatever?
I have.
Wait a minute, her head was locked. She didn't care about nobody else in this bed. She was like, I'm ready for you to speak.
Okay. Personally, I don't have any friends that I guess would be considered like hyper feminine on that side, so I don't really get put in those situations. However, people always go against me just for, like, I'm not doing a front to be masculine, like I am just being myself. But people go against me because they feel like I'm trying to be society's version of a masculine male when I am just being myself. Even when I did that last interview, I have nothing against feminine guys, but because I am masculine, everyone always goes into the, oh, you're trying to fit society standards and all of this. That is how I am. I grew up playing sports. I like cars. I like all of that type of stuff that typical guys do. That's just me. I'm not fronting to be accepted by anybody. But in the gay community, they always come at me Like I'm putting myself to be accepted by society versus somebody else that is feminine, that is kind of going out. And I don't know, I think one of the things that I have issues with when people are like, oh, they always go on the feminine guys for, oh, I congratulate them for being themselves and all of that and for being proud of who you are. Well, I am proud of who I am too, it's just I act differently. So why am I not praised for being proud of who I am the same way as he would be praised for being who? No, he said.
I think it has.
No, but seriously, like society, don't even look how you talking with your hands and eyes and all
I'm
that.
hearing you, and I also know that I want to bring in what you just said earlier. I recall that you said that, you know, lesbians are just so angry, and why are they acting that way? So why is it that it's quite alright for you to not act that way and be what a typical guy does, but when a woman does it, it is now she is acting, and she's just coming off being this way because she's trying to present something, but you're not trying to present something. So I want to understand that.
Because there are tomboys. There are tomboys.
Okay, you might have got me on that one. I give a courtesy pass on.
I mean, but this is that intersectionality where you're meeting, those things are meeting, and it's like, I feel what you're saying, because some people think that my husband is feminine or whatever, and if he is, that's cool with me. Like, we go out, I hold his hand, I hold doors, I open doors, I do all of those things because that's how my father raised me to be a man. Like, when you take care of your family and you're a provider, this is what you do. So he is my husband, so therefore I'm a provider for him. So I do those things, and I mean, I don't feel like it makes me come off as like, I don't really care about what the outside world is thinking about my masculinity, because it's like, why does that matter? Like, what prize do you get for being more masculine? Like, what do you get? Are you gonna walk into a job interview and be more masculine and get the job?
Well, I can answer that question. I know why people. I know why people put on, because it's easier to be accepted as a masculine man, period, than it is to be walking around in high heels or to wear the makeup or the shirt.
Well, for
just
maybe
generally
corporate
speaking.
America, but for me, I mean, I've been the manager of everybody. You know, I've been in a position of leadership of power, and I'm actually currently in a position of leadership of power. And there is a masculine employee that works below me, and there is a straight employee that works below me. I mean, there is a few, you know, lesbians that work. I mean, it's a very diverse staff. And so I think when it comes to corporate world or corporate America, I mean, I think it's somewhat perceived, like, for example, a close friend of mine, she is the Chief Diversity Global Officer of McDonald's, VP or Global Officer of McDonald's Corporation. So she is queen of diversity in my eyes. But she tells me at times, like, she gets comfort and joy in working with me, because there's so many, like, she knows that they're not as masculine, but since they're older, gay, black men of color, a sense of, for them to put on more than when it's like a guy that she is right below her, this guy, like, it kikis with her and all of that, but when he's like, she knows that's really who he is, but he grew up in the generation, like, you know, that where, you know, like, born in like 50s and 60s, well, you have to kind of keep some stuff hidden and close to that private, you know, eye or whatever like that. So she knows at times that he's not able to be as comfortable as he would around her when he's in meetings or just in that world.
But I don't think you should, and I feel like that is where we kind of get it a little bit lost in our own community, because I am a woman, yes, I'm a black woman, yes, I'm a lesbian, yes, but at the end of the day, I don't need to wear that in order to get the job done. So I feel like I'm gonna kiki and be like, hey y'all, what y'all doing, blah blah blah, and then when I'm in a boardroom, it's gonna be very different. It's gonna be, this is what I need you to execute, and blah blah blah. It's not going to be, yes girl,
right,
you know,
not like that. I mean, and I'm not like that either, and don't get me wrong, like, I am a feminine guy, but I'm able to understand in a leadership position, not to say that I change who I am, the essence of who I am, because I still carry Devin, but it's not friendship Devin. It's not Devin that my friends know. It's not Devin going shopping and kikiing and having margaritas with whatever. It's Devin in the business sense, but I'm not, it's just different. It's different. But I guess I just thought about something. Something just came to my mind. Because I don't completely change who I am, but I also know that I'm in a business setting.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
But I mean, he does. What I was speaking of, which she would remain anonymous. I guess what her thing was with me. She feels like maybe my generation and how this world is now, that we have the freedom to be who we are, and I guess for him, he grew up at a time when that wasn't as accepted. So it's hard for him to break that. And I think that's where the line is different.
Yeah, this is man versus music. You know what I'm saying? Michael Eichel in the building, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna do it like this. It ain't flavor, it's fever. Niggas got penny on the wall. I'm on that. Niggas got phony on the ball. I'm on that. I'm on that.